Hello guys. Today we are talking about Aliens, the sequel to Alien. This is, we'll get to those things in a bit here. But first, this movie they came out in 1986, 7 years after the first one. That's crazy. It's rated R. It's 2 hour and 17 minutes long. It's 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb without 781,000 ish user votes. It has 84% on Metacritic with 215 critics. It's directed by James Cameron, who did the Terminator movies. It stars Sigourney Weaver, who Ghostbuster that, and Michael Biehn, who was also in the first Terminator movie. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 94% by critics. It's certified fresh with 143 critics and 94% by audiences with 250,000 ish audience people. The critics' consensus is while Alien was a marvel of slow building atmospheric tension, Aliens packs a much more visceral punch and features a typically strong performance from Sigourney Weaver. The movie is available on streaming. It's on Hulu and Max and a lot of bundle combinations. It's available to rent and buy on Apple TV, Amazon, and Microsoft Store, and it's available to rent only on Spectrum TV. The movie was released on DVD in 1999. Kind of weird that Alien was released in 2004, but I guess Aliens was a bit more momentum there. Alright, so I'm just gonna say this. This is my favorite film of the franchise. This movie is just. And it's weird because it's kind of hard to say why it is. And I wasn't thinking about that as I was watching it, but after I watched it and I really thought about it, it's like, man, this movie just elevates everything from the first one in all the right ways. And I think I also, because it does, you know what it also reminds me? It's kind of, this movie, even ironically enough, directed by James Cameron, it does a lot what Terminator 2 did. It improved on every single way from the first one. Well, I don't know about improved, but just and this one not so much improved, but just a different flavor, but still. And yeah, there's just more of everything, and the action, and this is probably one of the most memorable crew cast of disposable heroes in movie history. I can't tell you how many times I've seen articles and reviewers and commentators praise the side characters in this movie. The action's fantastic. The special effects, the music, the everything about it. The way of follow-ups on Alien is great. The memorable back and forth between Sigourney Weaver and Newt, Ripley and Newt, the climax and just everything. This film, and you know what's funny too is that all the rest of the Alien films after this, they don't quite do this thing here like they do here. Now, there's crews and there's whatever, but in terms of this kind of this level of crew, Resurrection kind of does something like that, but not really. I mean, not really. It's too different, but yeah, Aliens, and it's funny because this franchise is definitely a Ridley Scott franchise, but it kind of says something where probably, arguably, the best movie of that franchise was not directed by Ridley Scott. It was directed by James Cameron. Now, granted, Ridley Scott hasn't directed all the movies. He really just did the first one, and then the Prometheus duology that we'll talk about when we get there. But yeah, this film just adds so much to everything. The quality, and man, and this also feels like an 80s action movie in all the right ways. It's just I don't know what else I could say about it, in all honesty. It hits all the sweet spots. like this franchise starting with Aliens, such a 1-2 punch of dark atmospheric slow build horror, and then followed by balls to the wall action frights with memorability on both ends. I mean, good lord. Like when people say it's their favorite, and here's the thing too, all that stuff is paired up with a constantly built universe. And here's the thing too, a lot of what makes this universe interesting too isn't necessarily the aliens, like I said in the last video. It's the world, more so the world, especially like the company, the androids, like all these extra mysteries and elements make this world feel so flavorful and worthy of exploring. The aliens are just icing on the cake, in my opinion. But man, the aliens are really the star of the show in this movie too. I mean, good lord, like the special effects and jumping from one to like a gajillion of them, and then the queen. I mean, oh my god, it's just like after you're done watching it, you're just like, I'm good with this. This is a good way to stop, but it doesn't stop because Alien 3 happens, and oh my god, that we'll get to that one in a bit, and that's a polarizing one there, Alien 3. Ugh. I'll have plenty to talk about with other ones. There's just not so much to talk about with these first two Alien movies because they're the benchmarks. And here's the other thing too, the Alien films have definitely leaned more on horror. Alien, I mean, Resurrection's the only one that might have tried to be more like Aliens, but in all honesty, all of them just kind of went with the Alien vibe, which is great. But I think what made Aliens so good too was the fact that it almost felt like a Ridley Scott James Cameron collaboration too, because they definitely kept some of the Ridley Scott stuff for sure from Alien. They had to. So you had that stuff, but you also had the James Cameron genius too. And between those two, I mean, geez, it's just like it's almost cinematic perfection. Um, I know it's a lot of praise, and I know there's gonna be some people that have seen these movies and they're just like, yeah, nah. And I get it. It's just the more I think about it, the more I kind of realize, man, this movie is just there's just not a lot about it that I just feel like really I can criticize. I mean, this movie gives you everything you're looking for. But here's the other thing too, and this is legit in a lot of these films in this franchise. The actual alien kills aren't really that gory flashy. They're really not, which is kind of hilarious to me as I'm watching them. How many of them are just like, I shit you not. At least in this movie, a lot of the people die just by aliens going up to them, going. They're just like all over them, just scurrying around and all that, and I'm just like, man, for all these effects and all this gore stuff, the way that some of these characters die, not all of them, some of them do legit get like pretty fucked up, but there's just some where I'm just like, okay, they're kind of doing the cheap way here. But but here's the thing too, because the horror in these movies isn't necessarily how people die. It's being in a position of dying. It's getting there and trying to escape. It's kind of like when you're trying to. It's like it's the chase. It's the chase fear with this kind of franchise. And yeah, it's just really that's the thing too. The pacing in this film's fantastic too. Like just the action and everything is just so balanced out. It's just almost nonstop in a lot of ways. And man, like it's kind of like if they did a Batman and a Batman 2, and the first Batman is like gritty and slow paced and methodical like detective, and the second one was actiony, kind of balls to the wall, and just kind of still Batman, but just different directions. But both films executed so goddamn well. This is what it is right here. And this is why I kind of compared the Terminator, first two Terminator films too, because the first Terminator film was definitely more horror like than the second one. The second one's definitely more action driven, even though the first film, I don't know if I would call it horror esque, but it does feel a little bit more horror esque. While this one, and kind of like with the Alien movies, although Aliens definitely has horror vibes, there's definitely a lot more action going on here for sure. But yeah, but what do you guys think? I am curious if you guys prefer Alien or Aliens. I love both. I prefer Aliens slightly just because it delivers so much and so much. Like I feel, and that's the thing too about really about these two movies really. But I feel like especially with Aliens, I feel like there's so much to absorb and see because it does move at the pace it does. Alien, the first one, it has that too, but because the movie moves at kind of a different pace than Aliens, you kind of it's a little bit easier to take everything in right away. Aliens, you take stuff in, but it's one of those things where if you watch it again, you can kind of see other things you might have not seen before, kind of thing too. So, or forgot about it, didn't catch or something. But yeah, overall, just really, really great movie. Definitely recommend. Like, if you're gonna watch any films in these franchises, the first two films, with no question. And then we got Alien 3, which we're going to talk about next time. Oh my god. Oh. That's going to be a doozy. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one here, guys. Thanks for watching. In case you guys want to chat with anyone at the Campy Company, you didn't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. First one is we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that in the About page / About section of our channel. We also have a community tab on our channel as well. You can access that anywhere at any time. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.